Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where we will go beyond the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. Be part of down-to-earth, no BS conversations where we will explore hot topics on love and money, relationships and business, beauty, and who we get to be with all that shit in between. With our insights and your actions, let's be unstoppable together. Let's go.
Welcome back, everyone. You know, a lot has happened this week, and Tina and I have been, talking back and forth. We've both been very busy, so we've been just basically WhatsApping each other all week about things. And obviously, everyone knows what's happening in the social media world, and you can see it. I mean, it's everywhere. But we really wanted to discuss something today, and I'm going to let Tina take it from here.
You know what? This is going to be a very controversial episode today. I can feel it because I said to Vicky, I'm like, just press record because I am effing fired up. So, I did a post on LinkedIn, and for those of you that are watching, I think we're going to do this next week, but Charlie Kirk, who was an activist, a political activist, he was very vocal about his beliefs, very controversial for some people, stirred up a lot of controversy, was killed for his beliefs. And so I wanted to share something that I learned a while ago. And it's that in life, we're just operating with views. And I know we did a podcast episode about this before where, I had a book and I think I said, Vicky, what do you see? And you're like, oh, I see this. And I'm like, I don't see that. I see a whole bunch of words. You're like, well, no, but I see red letters and I see this. And I'm like, but that's not what I see. Your view is your view. My view is my view. I can't change your view and you can't change my view. Mm-hmm. But what happens is instead of listening to other people's views, what we try and do is we try and be right. We try and force our opinion on somebody. We try and get them to see our view. And that does not work. So I posted something and this guy went off on a rant about how I am I use kindergarten thinking. I'm not educated. He made it personal. And this is what we do. What is your issue? Your issue is that you think that neo-fascist ideologies, whatever, is being spread. That is your issue. And I can resonate with your issue. I believe the same thing. But now all of a sudden, and I don't care. I mean, I don't really care if somebody says that I have kindergarten thinking. That's a non-issue to me. Your opinion is your opinion. But that is what's happening in the world. Now all of a sudden, the views and opinions that we have aren't being heard. The listening is shut down because now it's personal. Now it's about you and not the issue. And now other people are chiming in, creating mob mentality thinking. And it's all because we operate unconsciously as human beings. And I'm not saying I'm more elevated than anybody. I know, though, that I am not conscious, and I'm willing to admit that. There's so many things that I'm not conscious about, but I'm willing to, And yeah. So it was just, we move away from the real issues when we make things personal jabs, credibility jabs. This person, you're not educated, you're not this. What is the point? Does that move us forward in life? Does that move us forward towards our agenda and the things that really matter? School shootings, the homelessness issue, the drug epidemic, the division of I'm Canadian, so but Republicans and whatever, yes. It's like,
when you had said, because you were the first person that said something to me, you sent me, oh my God, Charlie Kirk was shot. And I was like, okay, first of all, who is that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For me, because my husband follows him, right? I didn't, because I am not, I can't handle all of that. So I mean, that may sound I'm burying my head in the sand, but I can't handle it. I can't handle all the controversy and all the, oh, Trump is this and this person is that and all. I get it. We all have our views. We all have our opinions. We all have our thoughts. I understand that. But if my husband and I don't have the same views, what, now we're not going to talk to each other? Now we're going to be
Mm.
mad at each other and we're going to make each other wrong? We're going to fight over who's president? Really? Why would we do that? So if we're not going to do that with the people that we love, why are we making this a big issue with people that we don't even know? Like you posting that, you have the right to post what you think and what you feel. That's what social media is. You have the right. And anybody has the right to have a different opinion, but they don't have the right to make you wrong. That's where I hear with all of this. I don't believe it's fair for anyone to say, well, you think that, then you're this, and call you names and make you wrong for your thoughts and feelings or just your posts. Like it might not even have been your thoughts and feelings. It might have just been like, it's a horrific thing for that to have happened and for us to be able to see that online. We as the world got to see it actually happen. That video is out there for not only us to see, and it made me sick. I couldn't even stand watching it. I didn't even realize that that's what it was when I was watching. And then until it happened and I was just like, how many children saw that? Why is that okay? That's where I go with all of this. It makes me angry. It makes me furious because this isn't just happening in the world like this. This is happening in our schools. There was just a shooting. There was a shooting the same day or a killing at another school just down from Columbine. Like that isn't cool. What is happening?
Well, and it's so alarming that we're so desensitized to all of this nonsense. You know, I posted something the other day that said, I think the whole world needs to shut down social media for a year just so we can go back to ourselves. Because I think in this process of, seeing all of this stuff, hearing all of this stuff, and I'm glad you said, you know what, like, I can't handle it. I don't
I
follow
don't.
that.
Mm.
Imagine this. If somebody is, let's say somebody who speaks a foreign language starts yelling at you, calling you names, doing this, doing that, swearing at you, spewing their beliefs. I don't really care. I don't understand what you're saying. What you say doesn't really matter to me. But language, everything is like we attach meaning to language. These
Mhm.
words that are coming out of his mouth, if he doesn't have a platform, if we don't give people a platform, like I think of like I know this is really extreme, but like the Ku Klux Klan, right? They spew their hate and their racism and their shit. And I feel like now people are like, go ahead and wear your white cloaks. And I mean, words are words, right? It's different if there's actions and
Yes.
there is a lot of violence in the world. But it's like, I could care less what venom they're spewing out of my mouth. I'm not going to give them the energy. I'm not going to fight their views.
Mhm.
My opinion is not going to change their views.
Nope.
All I can do is be the change that I want to see. Don't give them a platform to
Yeah.
speak. If only the people that agreed with them listened to them, there would be no conflict. They'd be
That's
in
right.
their own little world,
Yeah.
spewing their own little shit. Nobody would give a flying rat's ass or give a fuck about it. They
That's
would
right.
just be like, okay, go wear your silly costumes looking ridiculous. But no, we add fuel to the fire. And
Mhm.
that's where the problem is. It becomes mob mentality. And this is a very low vibrational lack of consciousness state. And when people speak up against that, the people that have low consciousness are the ones that want to fight to be seen as right. I need to be validated. I need to be right. I need and maybe part of me is doing that right now for the good. Like I'm saying something and I know that people are going to disagree with me, but at the same time, it's like, where is it coming from? Is it coming from a place of love to make a change in the world? Or is it coming from the other side, the negative side, the hate side? And that's what we need to ask. Do the words that we're saying right now, are they spreading love or are they spreading hate? Now, some people I think would say, you know, Charlie was spreading hate. He was spreading his misogynistic views, but is it really hate or is it our interpretation as hate? If somebody's views are different than ours, are we saying that because his views are different? I heard him say, if you're on a date with somebody and you're a man, you should pay for the date. He's like, that is a man thing to do. Now, some people will say that's misogynistic. You shouldn't say that. We live in this world of equality and women should. It's like, who cares? That's his view.
That's right.
It
That's
doesn't
right.
matter.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? You align yourself with like people. Like I agree with that. I do agree with that. Not that I wouldn't pay, but I was brought up that way. You know, my dad read the newspaper every single night when he came home from work. He'd work 12 hours a day and he came home and after dinner, he sat in his chair and he read the newspaper. And on Saturday mornings, he went and he bought the Toronto Star. He bought every newspaper he could and he read them. And I can guarantee you there was none of that in that newspaper in the sense of that video that we're privy to see. That wouldn't have been in that newspaper. It would have been what happened. And yes, it would have been the facts that the reporter, whoever was writing it, yes, we all have, I know that some channels and some papers, you know, are Republican or Democrat, whatever. I understand that. But he took what he thought from what he read, right? But there wasn't everybody else's opinions and views and thoughts and feelings. It was just his own. He didn't spew what he thought. That's just how he believed. That's the difference. Now it's pushed down your throat. You see it whether you want to see it or not. We don't have we don't. I turned on my phone and there it was. Like, what the hell? I don't want to see that. I don't follow things like that because I can't handle it. I don't feel the need to. And I know people will say that this is wrong. Well, there's nothing I can do about it, but there isn't. His views may not be the same as mine. But I saw a wife and 2 children with him. I saw that side of him as well. So when I think of someone killing that man, he killed a father. He killed a husband. That in itself is not right. Killing is not right. Guns. And he was talking about that. Like, so, you know, that's where I feel like this gets so much bigger. One person did something to somebody because of he may have spoke against, maybe that person was trans. I don't know, because he spoke against that. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But you know what? If you don't like it, turn it off. Don't watch it. It's easy. Like, honestly, we get ourselves all worked up in our own little bubbles about something that we have no control over.
And the thing is, it's like when we make something personal, like a personal jab at somebody's views or opinions, but we really have a mission. Like, let's say somebody really wants to advocate for equal rights. Okay, what's the best way to advocate for equal rights? Is it to go around like making everybody else who doesn't feel that way wrong? Is it you know, and I heard at a seminar one time, in order to really fulfill on what you want in the world, you got to give up who you are. And I was like, what do you mean by that? If you really believe in women's rights and women's equality, give up being a feminist. If you want to be a respected Black person in the world, give up being Black. If you want to be gay in this world, give up being gay. And it wasn't saying change who you are. It was saying, like, when you fight, and you know, I know I'm going to get backlash for this, but it's like when you are fighting somebody else to be heard, your message is not being heard and your message needs to be heard. So how do we do this in an empowered way? We be the change that we want to see the world. It's who we're being that people are going to be like, wow, like, you know, you are a feminist and you really believe in women's equality. And I see what you're doing in organizations. I see how you're showing up. I see, but it's not loud and I'm a feminist and people don't listen to you when you come from that place. They just don't. They turn
No.
you out. They
Yeah.
make you wrong, but your message will be received when it comes from a loving place, when it comes from like not making somebody else wrong, but making your cause right. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there is a difference. And I see so many people all the time that are, when other people are jumping on the bandwagon, they expect like their people, women jumping on the other women
Mhm.
bandwagon or whatever. And then
Yeah.
there's people that are like, well, wait a minute. If we really want equal rights as women, we got to show up differently. We don't have to be like that. We don't have to tap into our masculine energy. We don't have to be right. We don't have to force our beliefs. We just have to be in our feminine power. We need to stand up for ourselves. We need to communicate. We
Okay.
need all of these things. We don't have to be, we get to give it up. Give up being a, not, you can't physically give up being a woman, but I hope this message is landing. Like, and I
And
know
I
we
don't
all
think
want
it's
to
giving up being a woman, but it's giving up the fact that you have to, in everything you do, have to prove that I am a woman, hear me roar. I don't, that's, I think, what you're trying to say. Is that, am I right? Because
we
really,
don't have,
I walk into a room, I'm a woman. That's who I am. I show up
yeah.
as my most authentic self. That's who I get to be. And that's the difference, because people don't know. And something came up for me this week. I'm trying to make changes and I'm trying to do some things. And it was like, am I listening to everyone else or am I listening to me? And I think that that's so important, because people are listening to everyone else. That's who they're listening to. They're listening to all of the shit on social media and in all of this stuff, and I guess because we live in Canada, it is a little bit different, but we are in a border city. So where we live, it affects us. It affects us greatly that we can't go to the States just as freely as we used to, or whatever it was, right? Like, it affects us. So, Republican, Democrat, honestly, I can be honest with you. It never mattered to me because I didn't understand it for a very long time. And it's just in the last few years that I've gotten to understand it a little bit more. But what I believe is, shouldn't you want someone, whether they are part of your party or not, be the best person for the job? Not just because they're a Republican or a Democrat, a man or a woman. Shouldn't it be just the best person for the job? Isn't that what this is about? Because really and
Well,
truly, I that's what I believe. Because if you and I were going for the same job, or me and my husband were going for the same job, we both had the exact same qualifications, boy, girl, and he got the job, and the only reason he got the job because he was a man, that wouldn't be right for me. But if he got the job because he was better at it, fine. I can stand beside that. And that's what my thing is with all of this. It's just, it bothers me. It bothers me that people see this. It bothers me that it's in the homes, and then the children hear it and see it and feel this hate and it grows, and then it just goes down from generation to generation.
yeah. I was watching a video clip about Hillary Clinton, and it just, when you're talking about that, it reminds me of like the debates when people are debating, when leaders are debating about the issues, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden they bring in the personal. It's
Okay.
like, okay, the people at the top, the leaders of our country, the leaders of the world, when they're spewing this nonsense, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's like we're looking to them to lead the way
that's
to,
right.
and this, and I know some, like, when Hillary was being interviewed or something, they're like, well, that's not what your husband said. And she's like, my husband's not here. He's not in this position right now. He's not sitting where I'm sitting right now. That is a leader, because that's not making anybody wrong. That's just saying, listen, I'm here right now. Let's have a conversation with me. Now people are seeing her courage to stick up for herself. Now that leadership, and I'm not saying I'm pro, I could care
I know.
less, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, when I saw that, I was like, wow, because now I've learned she didn't have to make anybody wrong. She didn't have to put them down.
Mhm.
She stood her ground in an assertive, and I know we talked about communication patterns, aggressive,
Yeah,
assertive, passive. She was very assertive. Now that goes a lot farther
I agree.
than her, like, counteracting and making him wrong and did it. Now all of a sudden it's gone. The message is gone. Her
Hmm.
credibility is gone. Her leadership is gone. And that's why, like, love him or hate him, Trump will just spew whatever shit he feels is coming out of his mouth. Do I think he does some good in the world? Yeah, I do. Do I think he's a bit of a misogynist? Yeah, I do. Do I like agree with? No, I don't. But I do think that when you are in a position of power like that, your words, because we live in a world that is very
Yeah.
unconscious,
Hmm.
people attach meaning to your words. And
Yep.
if you're not mindful of them, I'm not saying like, we always have to go around being careful of what we say. No, we don't. But you have to be responsible for the listening and the listening of others, how people perceive you. And I do think that our way of being is important when we really do have a message that we want to get out to the world
Oh,
that we know
yes.
can make a difference.
Yeah.
How we communicate that message, how we treat people when we're communicating that message is important. And I think that's where the breakdown was with what happened with Charlie Kirk. Because sometimes he's like, I don't really care what you say. I don't care. And then he would be like, so almost in a passive aggressive way, sometimes make people wrong or belittle them or put them down. And
Hmm.
so that actually hurt his message because people that were on the fence or listening, now all of a sudden, it's not about his message.
No.
Now it's about, oh, he just put them down, made them look
Hmm.
stupid. Oh, look at them. They look stupid. It's counterproductive. It's
It is.
counterintuitive,
Hmm.
So it's like when you see these things, you can't unsee them.
Mm-mm.
And we always have to
Unfortunately
be
not.
mindful of, like, we all have hidden agendas. I mean, I have an agenda right now. I have an agenda to wake people up. I know it's going to be controversial. I hope it's coming from a good place. But that is my agenda to help people be a little more conscious. Maybe instead of getting defensive, instead of like listening to react to what I'm saying, maybe somebody will be like, okay, what? Let me listen. Like, this isn't my view, but let me let it in. And it doesn't matter. None of us are right and none of us are wrong.
No.
We're all right. We all have something to contribute to the world. This conversation, I really truly believe, is coming from God. The shooting is coming from God. And people are like, what? No, that's evil. Well, evil is here to teach us something too. It's in the darkness that we can reveal the light. So all of these things are spewing right now, but we have to come together for important causes, not keep up this division. If we want to influence gun control, we have to look at what would it take for us to really influence gun control? What would we have to do? Who could we ally with? Who could we partner with? What kind of ripple could we, if we really wanted to take on this cause? For example, the school shootings, where I don't know, I heard some statistic that there was like 400 school shootings last year. It's like, okay, if that is something that is really important to you, if that is the cause that I read this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. If that is one of the fucks that you want to give, how can you do that in a way where your message is going to reach the right people? You're going
Yeah.
to get the right allies without making the opposing, you know, beliefs wrong in any way, because we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
We all want safety in our schools. We all want the bullying to stop. We all want affordable housing for people. We want the, drug epidemic to go away. We
Yep.
all want
Yes, we do.
things.
Yes.
And we got to remember that we all want this. We all want a better humanity. How are we going to play our part in that?
Yeah.
That is the key,
And that is the
and
question, like, how are we? We try every day with helping one person at a time, right? Like we do. That's what we do. And hopefully with this podcast, we help someone. In everything that we say and we do on our podcast, on our social media, in our programs, in anything that we say and do, we want to help people. And you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree. You can disagree. It's okay. You don't have to think the same way Tina does or the same way I do. We don't always agree, and that's okay too. But we still respect each other's views. We still respect where we're coming from. And that's where I think we've really lost a lot of respect for people. People don't have respect. People are entitled now. People don't feel like they are enough, and they're looking for something more. Well, you know what? Find it here. Like you said, with God, if that's your belief, your source, creator, whatever your belief is, but find it within yourself first and before you're making everybody else wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so easy when we have a cause that's really near and dear to us. It's easier to point the finger at the people that aren't doing something than to actually do something.
Yeah,
Like, are you willing to commit your life to what you believe in? Because there are people that are doing that. And Charlie Kirk was one of those people that
that's right.
committed his life to spreading Christianity, to spreading love for Jesus. What people can say whatever they want, but he's like, you know what? I'm willing to risk being, ridiculed. I'm risk being slandered. I'm willing to risk people not agreeing with me. And that is a pretty brave thing to do, to not only
Yeah,
give your life to a cause, to risk, right now in this podcast, we could have listeners that are like, I don't agree with you. And because you said X, Y, and Z, I'm going to stop listening. I'm going to stop
mhm,
following. Like,
yeah,
our words can impact our business. Our words can have people who love us say, you know what? My belief isn't the same as yours. You're not who I thought you were. I'm going to stop following you. And you know what? If more people were willing to risk that, to say, that's okay, good, you're not my people. Because if I'm spreading love, if I'm trying to help wake up the world just to see a different view, and if you see that as negative, then that's great.
yeah,
It's like, and this is what we're doing, but we we got to make sure that it's coming from a loving place, like a real loving place. You know what I mean? Like, I do want to live in a world where my children feel safe going to school. I want to live in a world where I don't walk downtown and see hundreds of people living
yeah.
with garbage bags. Like, I want to live in a world where people who are struggling with addictions actually get the help that they need. But me wanting that doesn't make a damn difference. It's what
Yeah,
am I going to do about it?
that's right.
What am I going to do about it? And the people that are fighting these causes, that believe in global warming and want to live in a cleaner earth and want, all of these things, they're fighting for something that they believe in.
And they
And
have the
those
right to
people,
do so. And they
yeah,
have the right to do so.
if we don't shut them down by making them wrong and let them find their people. If people want to spread Christianity, let them find their people and spread Christianity. If you want to spread Kabbalah to the world, like, you find your people and you spread it. And, you know,
Yeah,
but be willing to take action, not just say that, not just spewing shit online and saying you matter about that. Okay, great. What else are you going to do?
yeah,
Because your beliefs of not spreading fascism and not your words are saying something different. You know, you're
yeah.
saying this, but you're doing something else. People lie, energy doesn't. Every time you react negatively, you put out more negativity in the world. No, and I am not judging at all. I love different opinions and views and beliefs. That's how I learn and grow.
Yes, exactly. That's the difference though, Tina, and I think that that's what people need to let in. That's what we're trying to say is allowing those different views and opinions in, not making them wrong, just allowing them in. It's okay to have a difference of opinion. It's okay. So why not just allow it in, and why does it make you so angry if it isn't the same as yours? That's where you have to look at.
This is why. This is why we do that. Because as human beings, we go through life avoiding being wrong and wanting to be right. It's our
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah.
Our ego will defend,
Absolutely.
protect, and live in this, I'll say it again. I think every week I say it, this matrix, this virtual reality world where things are right and wrong and good and bad. And we have to fight for the good. But when we're doing that, we're actually contributing to the negative.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't see that. If I'm coming on here and I'm judging people for their opinions and I'm making them wrong, my energy around that is worse than the energy of those people, because now I'm judging somebody who I perceive as being judging. So it's a double whammy. Like that's even worse.
Yeah.
I'm better than you and you shouldn't say this and you shouldn't do that and I'm good and that's worse. If I'm putting that out to the world, I'm actually worse than the people that are spewing negativity because I'm judging
Yeah.
and trying to pretend I'm not judging. But this is the world that we're living in is one of good and bad, right and wrong, and we're trying to put things into those boxes. But
Mm-hmm.
what if it's not? What if it just is? What if the shooting was not right or wrong, and maybe it's part of a bigger plan? Now, people might not let that in. What do you mean? That's negative. That's evil. And it's like, but when we're out to war on the battlefield, killing millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people, it's not right then to go kill somebody because we're fighting for our country.
Yeah.
So it's we attach meaning, our words, our context, our
Yeah.
circumstances. It's okay to go on a battlefield and kill hundreds of people, but it's not okay for a sniper to kill somebody. And I'm not saying but I'm just saying
Absolutely.
that,
You're not. No, it's not okay. It's not, but it isn't. Why is one right and one wrong in it's
right?
just yeah.
Because maybe it just is. Maybe it's just what happened. And maybe we can give up morality and right and wrong. And what would the impact of that be if we actually, when people talk about, oh, this guy cheated on his wife and this girl did this. And it's like, okay, so you made that mean that was something bad. Maybe there's something good that comes of that situation. And I'm a firm believer of like, it is what it is. And I trust that something good or positive will come from it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make it right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Yeah.
People are like, but there is right or wrong. I'm like, great, that is your view. And how does that work for you? If it's working for you, great. It doesn't work for me. I don't like making people wrong. I like to see like everybody has a valued opinion and belief.
Mhm.
And that's how I operate in life. And when I catch myself making somebody wrong or judging somebody, I feel really icky about that. And we all do. We all
Yeah.
make mistakes. We all stumble. We all like get disempowered and fired up. We're human beings living a human experience.
That's right.
But if we can just practice being a little more conscious, coming from a place of love, being willing to see somebody else's view, you don't have to agree. But maybe
No.
when we stop fighting it, then we can all come together and put our heads together and cause change. We can't rely on the government to change the world that we're living
Unfortunately
in.
not. No.
We have to, if it's to be, it's up to me. And if it's, it's 100% possible 100% of the time. It's just, what are you willing to commit to in order to fight for something that you believe in? Most people won't be willing to put that fight because they don't want to risk looking bad, being wrong, being ridiculed. But that's not the stand that I am for the world at all. And I'm not the stand for that with my clients, with my friends, with my family. And this, I think, one person at a time, one conversation at a time, if we can just start uniting together. If somebody wants to be trans, let them. If somebody wants to be a Republican, let them. If somebody wants to be racist, let them. They can, if they're racist and racist in their own world, that's it. They're just racist in their own world.
Yeah.
We, as a collective, can combat that
That's
by
right.
taking a stand. Not a stand for that. Be like, whoa, icky. I don't really
Yeah.
like what you said.
Yeah.
It's down.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
everyone matters. Everyone matters.
It's so true. We're living a human existence. This is the human race. If
Yeah.
we start playing as like this is the world that we live in, everybody matters, everybody's important, and everybody has a place in this world. Even the evil, even the bad, they have a place. Because when we see that evil, that's when we can shine the light and that's when we can cause more good. But there's a way that we can do it that's better than what we're doing because we've been doing this for generations and it's not working.
No, it's not working.
It's not working. So what's going to change? We can't change anything online. What's going on online, we can't change the world, but we can change ourselves. We
Yeah.
can be the change. And that will have an infinite ripple. An infinite ripple.
Yes. It does.
So that's the rant for today. I'm
Well,
curious.
you know what, Tina? I
You know,
think you needed to say what you needed to say, and I get it, and I do. And again, it's like not right or wrong, and that's what you said from the very beginning. And you get to be heard because what you have to say is important. And who we get to be is important. I want to be the change for my family. That's what I want. And that's why I took on myself and took on coaching and took on what I'm doing because I do want to see a change and I want to see it happen from me so that the next generations in my family are different for them so
yeah,
that they can see
yeah,
what's possible and they can grow and they can be kind, beautiful people. That's what I want. And if I can do that helping people through this podcast, through my programs, through your what you do, like we both do the things that we love because we want to see the change and we want to be the change. So I think, you know, everything that was said in this podcast, some people may, like you said, not want to listen anymore. Some people may tell their friends and we get more viewers. Who knows? But you know what? At the end of the day, it's just, we are two women speaking about things that affect our lives. And we're hoping that by what we feel or what we think or say, that it will give somebody else hope or somebody else that little glimmer that maybe will change their direction for the better, and that's all we're doing. So thank you today, Tina, for speaking your truth and being so vulnerable in what you said, because it can come with some backlash and that's okay because you, my friend, can handle that. You are one tough broad.
Well, this is the thing that I want to leave everybody with, right? Let this in, if anything. If there is no past and there is no future, we only have right now. Not what happened yesterday, not what's going to happen tomorrow, just right now, because this is really all we have right now.
The gift
How
of
do we,
today, the present.
the gift of today, how do we want to be right now in this moment? Who do we get to be? What is the message that we want to share with our family, our friends? Like, how do we be the change right now? And if we could just live in the now, literally, we can impact the world in such a profound way. Like, the past is history. The future is a mystery. Just be
Yeah.
right here, right now, and be the best version of yourself. Take on the work. Do the inner healing so that we don't operate as triggered little human beings. Develop your consciousness right now and watch the ripple that you create in your life and in the world. And together we can make so much change. We really can. So I love you guys.
I love you too. I love everyone. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Well, friends, that is the end of our episode today. If you love this episode, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And please share us with your friends and tag us on your socials at The Art of Being Unstoppable. So for today, have yourself a beautiful day, and let's be unstoppable together. See you next time.